Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey, Cowboys Nation! Today we're diving deep into a story that's been shaking the NFL and more specifically the Dallas Cowboys community. It's a story that combines on-field heroics, controversy, potential league punishment, and a lot of questions about how the NFL handles player conduct, especially when it involves our beloved Cowboys. If you're as passionate about the Cowboys as I am, you know that every game, every play, and every incident can have ripple effects that go far beyond just the scoreboard. So, buckle up because what we're about to discuss is not just about a single game. It's about the bigger picture, the implications, and what might be coming next for our team and for the league. Let's start with the scene. It's Christmas Day. The Cowboys, after a rough stretch, are desperately fighting to stay relevant in the playoff race. Their opponent, the Washington Commanders, a team that's been unpredictable but dangerous. Dak Prescott, our four-time Pro Bowler, is leading the charge, trying to keep Dallas's hopes alive. Prescott, who has been a symbol of stability and resilience for the Cowboys since he took over as starting quarterback, had a solid performance, 19 completions out of 37 attempts, 307 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But what stood out most wasn't just his stats. It was that he was making plays under pressure, even though he was sacked 6 times during the game, which shows the strength of Washington's defensive line. Now, what's particularly interesting about this game and what is causing a lot of buzz is a specific incident involving Prescott and the Washington defense, especially linebacker Frankie Louvu. It's not just a typical sack or a routine play. It's a moment that could have serious repercussions, not only for the players involved, but for the league's disciplinary policies and the Cowboys' season outlook. Around the 58 mark of the third quarter, Prescott was sacked by Von Miller, a veteran linebacker known for his pass-rushing prowess. But right after the play, things escalated. Louvu, seemingly caught in the heat of the moment, went in to hit Prescott again, even though the play had technically ended. What makes this situation so tense is the context. Prescott had just been sacked on a crucial 3rd and 9, a play that could have ended Dallas's drive and handed momentum to Washington. Instead, thanks to a penalty called on Louvu for unnecessary roughness, the Cowboys got a new set of downs. The penalty was assessed because Louvu hit Prescott after the play was over. A clear case of unnecessary roughness, and one that could be reviewed for further disciplinary action by the NFL. This incident isn't just a minor infraction. It's part of a larger pattern that involves Frankie Louvu, who has already faced multiple fines this season. To give you the full picture, Louvu's fines total over $16,600, primarily for dangerous hits like hip drop tackles, which the league has been cracking down on to protect player safety. The NFL has been very vocal about its stance on player safety, especially concerning hits that could cause serious injuries. So, this particular incident with Prescott is likely to attract the league's attention, and the league could decide to impose additional penalties, perhaps even a hefty fine or suspension. But why does this matter so much for the Cowboys? Well, first, Prescott's health and safety are always top priorities. While the league has a responsibility to protect its players, incidents like this can also influence the game's physicality and the way defenses play. Will defensive players become more cautious or will they push the boundaries further? That's a question that every team, including Dallas, is watching closely. Moreover, this incident could set a precedent affecting how other players approach their hits in future games, especially in high-stakes situations. Now, let's zoom out and look at the broader implications. The Cowboys coming into this game were already in a tough spot. After losing 3 games in a row, they found themselves eliminated from the playoff hunt. A disappointing end for a team that had high expectations at the season's start. But that win on Christmas Day was more than just a morale boost. It was a statement. It showed resilience, grit, and the ability to overcome adversity. Prescott's performance, especially under duress, was a reminder of his leadership qualities, even if the team's overall season didn't go as planned. This incident with Louvu and Prescott adds a layer of complexity. For one, it raises questions about discipline and game management. The league's review process will scrutinize whether Louvu's hit was malicious or just a bad judgment call in the heat of the moment. If the NFL decides to penalize Louvu further, it could influence how defenders approach similar situations in the future. And for Prescott, it's a reminder that he's always a target, not just for defenses trying to sack him, but also for aggressive hits that could threaten his health. From a historical perspective, this isn't the first time we've seen such incidents. The NFL has been increasingly vigilant about player safety, especially after the growing concerns over concussions and long-term health issues. The league's new rules against hits to the quarterback after the play is over are designed to prevent exactly this kind of situation. Sometimes these rules are enforced strictly, and other times the league opts for leniency if the hit appears accidental or reactive. But given Louvu's prior fines and the league's recent stance, it's highly probable that the NFL will issue a statement or penalty soon. Another point worth considering is how this incident might affect the upcoming games for the Commanders and the Cowboys. Washington, which faces the Eagles next week, might see increased scrutiny on its players' physicality, especially when it comes to aggressive hits. For Dallas, with their season effectively over, the focus might shift toward evaluating player safety and discipline, but also on how to carry forward the lessons learned from this turbulent season. Now, let's take a moment to analyze the Cowboys' season as a whole. Despite the recent setbacks and the disappointing end to their playoff hopes, there are still many positives to highlight. Prescott has been a cornerstone of the team, consistently performing under pressure and showing leadership that keeps the Cowboys competitive in most games. His stats, 19 completions, 307 yards, and 2 touchdowns in a game where he was under constant pressure, demonstrate his resilience and skill. It's worth noting that the offensive line, often criticized earlier in the season, has shown flashes of improvement. Although the 6 sacks he endured highlight ongoing issues in pass protection, the defense, traditionally a strength of the Cowboys, has had its ups and downs. The incident involving Louvu is a reflection of the aggressive style of play that Dallas often employs. However, it also underscores the importance of discipline and playing within the league's safety guidelines. If the Cowboys want to return to playoff contention next season, they'll need to address both offensive line consistency and defensive discipline. Looking into the season statistics, Prescott's yardage total of over 30,000 yards is respectable, especially considering the injuries and inconsistencies faced along the way. The fact that he's thrown for multiple touchdowns despite the pressure indicates his ability to perform in clutch moments. But with the team's early struggles, including the 3 consecutive losses, it's clear that the Cowboys still have room for growth. Their offensive scheme, which relies heavily on quick passes and a balanced run game, has shown potential but sometimes lacks the explosiveness needed to dominate in crucial moments. From the defensive perspective, players like Trayvon Diggs have been vital. If the incident with Louvu draws further league scrutiny, it could impact the Commander defense. But for Dallas, it's a reminder that discipline will be critical in future matchups. The Cowboys' defensive scheme, which often emphasizes aggressive blitzes and zone coverage, sometimes leaves them vulnerable to big plays, but it also creates turnovers and pressure that can change the course of the game. Now, let's compare the Cowboys to other teams in the NFC and across the league. The NFC is stacked with talented teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco 49ers, and Detroit Lions. Dallas, despite its struggles, remains competitive in terms of talent, especially with Prescott leading the offense. However, their recent form has shown vulnerabilities that need addressing. The league is highly competitive, and every small incident like the one involving Louvu and Prescott can have ripple effects in the standings, especially in tight playoff races. Looking ahead, what does this mean for the Cowboys' future? Well, the immediate concern is the league's review of Louvu's actions. If the NFL decides to impose a hefty fine or suspension, it could serve as a warning to other defenders about crossing the line. For the team, it's a reminder of the importance of maintaining discipline and focusing on clean, safe play. As for Prescott, he remains a key figure in the franchise's hopes of bouncing back next season. The team's offensive scheme centered on quick passes and exploiting defenses with their talented receivers will need refinement, especially in protecting Prescott better. In terms of coaching, Mike McCarthy's approach will come under scrutiny. His offensive game plan, which has sometimes been criticized for lack of creativity, will need to evolve to maximize Prescott's talents and mitigate the risks of injuries. The defensive coordinator also faces questions about whether his aggressive tactics are sustainable, especially if incidents like these become more frequent. Finally, fans and media are watching closely. The Dallas Cowboys are a team with a storied history, passionate supporters, and high expectations. This incident, while unfortunate, also provides an opportunity for reflection and growth. Will the league's disciplinary actions serve as a warning? Will the team rally around Prescott and their defense to close out the season strong? And most importantly, what does this mean for the Cowboys' identity moving forward? And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this incident? Do you think Luva's actions were malicious or just a heated reaction? How do you feel about the league's handling of player safety and discipline? Do you believe this will impact the Cowboys' future games or their off-season plans? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Dallas Cowboys as a whole. As we wrap up, remember that football isn't just about the plays, the stats, or the penalties. It's about passion, resilience, and the ongoing journey of our team. The Cowboys have shown moments of brilliance this season, but also faced challenges that test their character. This incident is just one chapter in their story, one that could shape their path in the coming months. So stay tuned, keep supporting your team and get ready for what's next. Because in Cowboys Nation, we never give up and we always believe in the comeback. And with that, I'll leave you with a reminder. This league is constantly evolving and every game writes a new story. Whether it's victories or controversies, it's all part of the beautiful game we love. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and come back soon for more in-depth analysis, breaking news, and exclusive insights into the Dallas Cowboys. Until next time, Cowboys fans, stay strong, stay loud, and keep the faith. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead. It's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. Now, as we look ahead, the NFL's decision on Frankie Luva's penalty could set a precedent. Will other defenders think twice before crossing the line? Will the league reinforce its efforts to protect quarterbacks, especially in high-stakes moments like this? And how will the Cowboys respond both on the field and in the locker room? These questions are boiling up as we wait for official league action. But one thing's for sure, the story isn't over yet. The NFL's disciplinary committee is known for its meticulous reviews, and given Love's history of fines totaling over $16,600, another hefty penalty could be on the horizon. This could influence not just Luva's career, but also how teams coach their defensive players to avoid further infractions. Let's take a moment to appreciate Prescott's resilience. Despite the chaos and the aggressive plays from Washington, he kept fighting, kept leading. His 307 yards and 2 touchdowns are impressive, especially considering the pressure he faced. But it's also a reminder of how fragile a quarterback's situation can be in today's NFL, where defenders are more aggressive than ever and the league is trying to curb dangerous hits. Prescott's injury history, including the shoulder injury from last season and other minor setbacks, makes this incident even more critical. Fans should be concerned, but also hopeful that league oversight will help keep their star quarterbacks safe moving forward. Another thing to consider is how this incident might influence the upcoming offseason for Dallas. Will the team focus on strengthening their offensive line to protect Prescott better? Or will they perhaps look into defensive schemes that emphasize discipline and avoiding unnecessary penalties? The coaching staff has a lot to think about after this season, especially with the looming question of how to balance aggression with safety. They'll also need to evaluate how to handle players like Trayvon Diggs, who has been integral to the defense's success, but may also be involved in similar situations. The NFL's focus on player safety is unlikely to relax. So, the Cowboys will have to adapt their strategies accordingly. Now, let's compare this situation with other prominent incidents in NFL history. There have been several cases where hits after the whistle or dangerous tackles led to fines, suspensions, or both. For example, the league has cracked down hard on hip drop tackles, which are considered especially dangerous. Frankie Livu's prior fines for such tackles totaling over $124,500 highlight how vigilant the NFL has become. This latest incident with Prescott may be viewed as part of a pattern, and the league's response will be telling of its stance on player safety. Will they treat this as a one-off mistake, or as a sign that stricter enforcement is needed? That's a question that will be answered in the coming days. From a strategic perspective, the Cowboys' victory on Christmas Day was crucial, not just for morale, but for their standing in the division and the conference. Although their playoff hopes are officially over, the win showed that this team still has fight. Prescott's performance, especially in clutch moments, demonstrated leadership that could inspire a stronger push next season. The recent incidents, including the Livu hit, serve as a sobering reminder that football is a brutal sport and maintaining discipline is essential for long-term success. In the context of the league's overall landscape, the NFL continues to emphasize safety and discipline. The recent fines for other players, including Kevin Winton of the Titans and several others, show that the league is serious about cleaning up the game. Frankie Livu's case is particularly significant because of his history and the potential for further penalties. This ongoing crackdown could influence how players approach tackling in the future, especially when the game is tight and every yard counts. Looking ahead to the next season, the Cowboys will need to address multiple areas: protecting Prescott better, sharpening their defense, and ensuring that disciplinary issues are minimized. The incident involving Livu and Prescott might serve as a pivotal learning moment. It's also a reminder that football is a game of passion and intensity, but also one that requires responsibility and control. The league's handling of this case could serve as a model for other teams and players, emphasizing that safety must come first. So, as we wrap up this extensive analysis, I want to leave you with a final thought. Every incident like this is a piece of the larger puzzle that is NFL football. It's a game of moments, some glorious, some controversial, that define not just seasons, but careers and legacies. For Dallas Cowboys fans, this season might be remembered as one of ups and downs, but also one of resilience and learning. The league's response to this incident will shape future safety policies, and the Cowboys' ability to bounce back will depend on how they adapt in the off-season. Remember, football is more than just a sport. It's a passion that unites millions of fans, and every play, every penalty, every moment carries weight. The Cowboys have a storied history of overcoming adversity, and this incident is just another chapter in their ongoing story. As always, I encourage you to stay engaged, keep supporting your team, and be part of this incredible journey. The NFL is ever-changing, and every season brings new surprises. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this incident? Do you believe Livu's actions were malicious or just a heated reaction? How do you feel about the league's stance on player safety? Do you think this will impact the Cowboys' future games or their off-season plans? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Dallas Cowboys community at large. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive. Remember, football isn't just a game. It's a way of life. A story that continues to unfold with every snap, every tackle, and every decision. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and keep believing in the Cowboys. I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and inside stories. Until then, stay safe, and as always, go Cowboys. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much, too. US and to the Dallas Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates. So stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news.